Welcome to unit number 2 of our series, Finding God Through Faith and Reason. I said last time that this series might also be very useful for someone you might know who might be struggling with their faith, maybe a person who might be in your family or a friend who just is looking for some reasons for the existence of God. And as you know, in our Catholic tradition, since really the time of St. Thomas Aquinas, really since the time of St. Anselm and St. Augustine, and before this project of proving the existence of God and looking for that connection between faith and reason, which comes from God, the same source of both reason and faith, this has been very, very much a part of what we have done. So this little series is an attempt then to give you an overview of some of these proofs. And if you want a little bit more help, there is a book that's available through the EWTN catalog, New Proofs for the Existence of God. And there is also the Institute on Faith and Reason at Gonzaga University, who might be able to give you some sheets on some of the topics that we're discussing. In the last unit, we talked a little bit about two kinds of evidence. A priori evidence, that's the kind that's based on the principle of non-contradiction, and a posteriori evidence, which is based on sensation or experience, and that every kind of proof would have to combine those two kinds of evidence, and that through the combination of these two publicly accessible or publicly corroboratable kinds of evidence, we could then come up with a new publicly corroboratable conclusion, namely that God exists. In the last unit, we saw why someone would suspect, for example, through proof, that every single universe, no matter our universe or any other conceivable universe that one could come up with, why all of those universes would be subject to the same stricture, that their past time would have to be finite. And we proved that by means of an a priori proof. In this unit, we're actually going to get to St. Thomas's proof for the existence of God right now. And it's his uncaused cause proof. As you know, he had 5 ways in the Summa. And we're just going to take one, this uncaused cause one, and we're going to put it into a format in 3 steps, which I think has been very successful with my students and may be accessible to you. So let's just go, combine these two kinds of evidence now and go to our proof itself. There's just a few things to just sort of keep in mind as we're going through. The first thing that we need to do is take a look at the idea of a cause versus an uncaused cause, and then as we get a sense of that cause and the uncaused cause, we'll go ahead and try and also put together, a sense of whether or not you can have an infinite number of causes. And then if you can't have if that proves to be a contradiction, we'll go ahead and try to show that the opposite would have to be the case, as we saw in the last unit. So let's just kind of take those steps for a second and then see if we can't get this proof for the existence of God. What Thomas means by an uncaused cause is literally something that doesn't need anything in order to exist. It doesn't have to have its conditions fulfilled. It doesn't need any kind of a cause outside of itself. It needs absolutely nothing. It is completely independent of any form of causation for its existence. Whereas a caused cause, well, that would be like electricity, where, if you were going to generate some electricity, well, you'd have to have a generator. But in order to have a generator work, you'd need another power source, let's say hydroelectric. So you need some water in a very, very forced pressure situation to turn a turbine, which would in turn create that electricity and so forth. And let's just say for a second there that we'll call that a caused cause. That is to say, you have to have something to make it exist in order for it to cause anything else to exist. So given that distinction between an uncaused cause, doesn't need anything in order to exist, exists completely on its own, versus a caused cause, that is to say, something which has to be brought into existence in order to cause anything else to exist, given that distinction, let's just see what St. Thomas recognized right from the start about caused causes. And here it is. An infinite number of caused causes equals nothing. So let's suppose I have caused cause number 1. I don't know. Let's suppose it's the turbine that is going to create some electromagnetic activity which is going to be transferred to some power lines and so forth. Let's suppose I have caused cause number 1, and it in turn is dependent on the water power right here and now to turn the turbine to create the energy right here and now. So let's call that then a caused cause number 2, that water power for the turbine. And let's then say that in turn is dependent upon caused cause number 3. So another one so it's the water actually flowing down and the force of gravity which is causing the water to flow at this very particular volume and so forth. And that's caused cause number 3. And let's just say that in turn is dependent upon caused cause number 4, which is dependent upon caused cause number 5. But remember, each one of these things needs a cause of its existence. Now just think for a second. I've got all these caused causes. So this one needs a cause in order to exist, but that one in turn needs a cause in order to exist. And now I have an infinite number of caused causes. So it keeps on going infinitely. Now remember, these caused causes are hypothetical caused causes. So the key thing to remember then is, caused cause number 1 dependent upon caused cause number 2, but just think for a second, you don't have any uncaused cause at all. So no matter where you are in the series, you're always at a caused cause. Now, just contemplate this for a second. Caused cause number 5, what is it without caused cause number 6? It's 0. Caused cause number 4, what is it without caused cause number 5? 0. So start with caused cause number 1. It's 0 without 2. 2 is 0 without 3. 3 is 0 without 4. 4 is 0 without 5. But the interesting thing about caused causes are they're all zeros without the next one. But the next one's got to be a 0 without the next one. And it doesn't matter how many causes, even an infinity of causes you postulate, they're all 0 without the next one, without the next one, without the next one. And therefore, if you don't have any causes in the series, they're all zeros without the other one. Without an uncaused cause, there is absolute 0 in the series. I don't care if you postulate an infinity of them or not. It's the same thing as postulating a finite number. It's easy to see a finite number. Say you have 4 caused causes. Postulate caused cause number 1. It's 0 without caused cause 2. Caused cause 2 is 0 without 3. 3 is 0 without 4. And you only got 4 in the series. Okay, what do you have? Sum total. 0. Because caused cause is 0, it can't produce caused cause 3. Caused cause 3 is 0, it can't produce caused cause 2. Caused cause 2 is 0, it can't produce caused cause 1. 0. Postulate an infinity of them. And you get to any one of them is still 0 because all you have are caused causes in the series. So any one of them, no matter how far down the series you go, every one of them is 0. And you add 0 to itself an infinite number of times, and what do you get? 0. And so because of that, St. Thomas Aquinas, dependent upon, of course, his predecessors like Aristotle, St. Thomas Aquinas recognized very well that an infinite number of caused causes, without an uncaused cause, without something which didn't need any cause for its existence, something which could exist on its own, an infinite number of caused causes was still equal to 0, because 0 added to itself an infinite number of times is still 0.